A little bit of out of action on Foreign Fridays. There we are, Thomas.
There we
Been
are.
a long time. Been a long time since we've rock and rolled with a Foreign Friday, my man. How are you?
Oh, very long, but that's okay. We've been on our own adventures, so that's part of the fun.
We've been road tripping, and Thomas making some road trips and having some success on the road, making some wagers. So hopefully that translates to another, virtual trip to all over the globe this time, Tom. We're going to France, Ireland, and Australia for our 5 races today.
Yeah, well, we picked out group races and also pick out some of the, especially the Irish races, to see what those 2-year-olds, and the French too could be in, and we'll see who may show up at the Breeders' Cup.
Oh yeah, those 2-year-olds. Thank you, Thomas. We were looking forward to those 2-year-olds over there in where are they all? France? Yeah.
Well, France and in Ireland.
Yes.
But
I have enough hard enough time with the 2-year-olds around here. So, well, where do you want to start? Do you want to start in Australia? That race is like overnight, right?
Yeah, that'll be tonight.
That'll be tonight. So you want to start in Royal Randwick?
Randwick is our only Group 1, so why not?
Let's start at Randwick then. So I got to make sure I pull up the right banner. There you go. It's race 8. It is the Winx Stakes.
And Winx was one heck of a racehorse when she ran. She won, 17 in a row, something like that. Unbelievable horse.
Sounds like what I would do if I ran races. So it's a 1,400-meter race. It's a Group 1. And if I remember correctly, indeed, I do. This is important here. They have a rating of a soft 7 with a few clouds. So it's not raining right now. So maybe a chance the track gets upgraded a little bit.
I doubt it. It's been raining there a lot. And most of the tracks have been either soft or heavy. So I would be very surprised. Plus, remember, it's like reverse seasons. So keep that in mind.
So they're heading to their we're headed to winter, so they're headed to spring. So they're getting their version of April showers, I guess.
Yeah, essentially, yes. So that would make some sense. Also help
1,400
rain.
14, yeah, indeed. 1,400 meters, a little out of sync right there, Thomas. I hope this is the Randwick track right here, right? Here's 1,400 meters.
Me, because they're going to go in that chute.
And they're going to come down, and then they're going to hook. No, they're going to come down and go around, and then where's the finish line on here? Right there. So
they're red. Yeah, there you go.
Down that chute, around the bend, and to here. So only one sortish turn. That's it.
Well, it's kind of one big turn and one gradual turn would be probably the better way to look at it.
So tactically speaking, with the chute, is there any particular post position that you, if you owned a horse or trained a horse, that you would want?
I wouldn't want the outside.
No, you would prefer the inside on that turn? Okay.
I would want, and according to the stats, most of those outside posts don't win. So, so anything 11 and beyond, I think, would be a pretty tough ask from a horse.
And I think this is a 16-horse field. So
right now,
you got a few out there, and there's a couple scratches. So we'll get. I don't know if you had the 4. Apero, or if you had number 19 Attrition, but if you didn't, right now there is a 16-horse field with 2 also eligibles, King Colorado and Navajo Peak. All right, Tom, it's been a while, so get us started with a winner.
I'm going to start with number 10, Major Beal, who has draw 10. Won a Group 1 race last out at 2,400 meters, so we're going to shorten up pretty significantly to this race. That was his first Group 1 win. He's been away for 139 days, but he's ran
like us.
He's ran into exactly. Ran in 2 trials, and he ran second in both of those, and he was facing some decent horses in those trials. He won his last race on the heavy going, and he's got a nice record on the heavy going and the soft going. He's been doing well on both things. He has 2 attempts at group racing, and he's got a win and a second. Never ran this distance, but he's definitely in form, and they must see something, because you could easily find a Group 1 as the season winds down there to maybe slip him in, or Group 2 or something with the big dollars. Number 2, Zakia, my next choice. Drives draw 8. Great horse, always been. Last out was at Doomben. at 1,200 meters. Don't know what happened. And they after the horse came off the track and the stewards questioned the trainer, he said, "Yep, he's going to get some time off." He ran a good second in his prep for this in the trial for this race. His overall record is quite good. Has 43 starts in his career. He's won 15 times, and 4 of those were Group 1s. He's placed 15 times. He had 2 wins from 7 tries at this distance, so pretty good. He likes the soft going, and he's won on it. So if he does nothing, I would say he's probably done with racing in this race. But he won $10 million Australian. That's not chump change.
No.
You're doing something right, and he's 8, but he keeps going. Finally, I'm going to take number 16, Hinged, with draw 5 as my final choice. 4th last time out in a Group 1 at Randwick. Charged home at the end and just really missed the placings. Took 132 days off and comes back off 2 what I would call very useful trials, but not stellar. I mean, they could be better. But I like her on the soft and heavy going. She's done very well on that. And I had one thing that stuck out at me was this distance for her. And that's she got 5 starts and 3 wins and 1 placing. So, she's won at this course. She's won at this distance. The stats overall, and she has one first coming up. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
All right, I thought you were done. Our timing's just a little bit off, but what can you expect? 139 days.
I haven't been doing it in a while.
So just a quick point of note. This race will go off at 1:45 a.m. Eastern. So a little bit of what we call insomnia racing, Thomas.
Absolutely.
So
got nothing better to do, watch some decent racing.
Well, when we went off to Saratoga, we heard Thomas rumbling around in the middle of the night making his Australian bets. So we know Thomas is a benefactor of the insomnia racing. For me, in the Randwick race, I'm going to start off with that old horse that you mentioned, that 8-year-old there, Zaki. This one does like the soft track. 6 times out, a win, a couple of seconds and a third. And then also at the track 6 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds. And has run well when it's had a little bit of time off. So number 10, Major Beal. Did you pick that one too, Tom?
Yes, I picked that as my top choice.
How does that work? We're not together for 139 days and we have the same 2 horses just in reverse order. But this one's bombs away, in my opinion, right? It was 21-1. So a little bit of a price right there. Should sit right off of the pace. I think that's a good position to be in this race. That does have late legs, has taken a trip around this track, won that race. And also on the soft track, 4 times out, 2 wins, a second and a third. So seems like a great fit for the 10 horse.
The distance is the big question.
Yeah, well, it did it once and it won that race. So 1 for 1. And then number 8, Osipinko. I don't know if I got that one right or not, but it is today. This one is one that should be sitting right behind maybe the 10 horse in their Major Beal. Capable, if you look at the past performances, gobbling up a lot of ground late. It does have a Group 2 W in there. And then finally, number 1, Think It Over. This is your quintessential horse for the Randwick course. 19 times on that track, won 8 of them. Put that horse 16 times anywhere else, and it won 4 of them. Still effective winner elsewhere, but just seems to like the going at Randwick. So for me, 210, 8, and 1 in Australian racing. And I don't think
we should note there are 2 horses that used to race in this country in this race. Going Global and Princess Grace.
And Going Global is number, hold on, let me pull this off here. Close this down. Going Global.
Down.
Yeah, I'm just trying to close this to make it a little bit shorter. Number 14 and 15. So Princess Grace and Going Global if you want to back the American contingency. All right, Thomas. Now we're going to go on. We're not going to go to race 6 anywhere else. We're done with the Australian racing. So you want to go to France or do you want to go to Ireland next?
Let's go to France.
All right, we'll go to, was it Deauville? How do they pronounce that one?
Yeah. Deauville's kind of sort of like Saratoga, you would think. It's in August in France, French racing. That is the track. And they have an extended meet. there with a lot of group, as you can imagine, group races, and usually draws a lot of attention from the Irish and the English trainers, and we're seeing it in this race.
And we got a group 2 of 2-year-old fillies. They got to love that, right?
Yep.
This one's 7 furlongs, so that awkward racing distance. Is it a sprint? Is it a route?
Is
it a sprout?
In this case, it's going to be a straightaway.
Well, that's even better yet, but we'll call it a sprout. They're going to, it's again, a soft turf there. So you want to make sure you keep track of that. And I mean, make this a little bit bigger. Otherwise it's useless, I would say, Tom, but it makes everything else bigger. So I have to
big microscope.
Shut it back down. So what is that? 1,400 meters. Is that about right for 7 furlongs, Tom?
Yeah.
Because I think 1,200 is, so they're going to start here and they're going to run around this way and then finish that way.
No, it's straightaway.
They're down here.
Yeah. So they're going to go down the straight.
They're going to just run down here. Is there any undulation to that or not? Or does it just go straight?
Yeah, there's a little bit of up and down in that course. Deauville at inner, if you're wondering what that inner is, that they have a all-weather track there too. So they are a little bit versatile, and that's a lot of, like anywhere else, they take advantage of it. And that's what you're seeing on the that 1,400 around the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually that all-weather.
That's that all-weather. So close to similar, I guess, in some respects to a Gulfstream, except maybe they don't have a dirt course there, I'd imagine.
And they go the wrong way.
Yeah, I know. They're French. What do you expect? All right. So let's go through our picks for the Prix du Calvados. I screwed that up completely. My apologies to the folks in France, but hey.
Calvados.
All right.
Calvados is an distilled apple drink. That's pretty nasty stuff.
Oh, so it's like that. Is that like that hard cider that they have here?
Yeah, it's even harder than that.
It's just hard to drink. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me personally, but I know many people who do like it. I took number 5, Classic Flower, as my top choice with draw 2. Last race ran second at this course at 1,400 meters. Came from dead last, top of the lane, and kept going, but didn't catch the winner. Winner was tiring. We're going to talk about her in here too. The way she came to these was she ran at 2 minor tracks and did very well. And they moved her up to a class group 2 last time out, which ran third. I'm wondering if the straight course is better for her. I don't know. Christian Demir had other options to ride in this race, and he picked this one. So that's always something that piques my interest. Why a jockey would take one over some others where he's got choices. He obviously felt he got something under him. Mm-hmm. Number 7, Claire La Vie is going to be my next choice. Has draw 5. Last race was at Newmarket at 1,400 meters. She ran third behind probably the top horse in England right now. 2-year-old is Fallen Angel. And she went off at 40-1 in that race. She's a novice winner, and then she jumped into a group 3. So it's, moving it up. Richard Hughes is the trainer, and he must have seen something in that last race to suggest why not send her to France and see what she can do in this race. And with that, she gets probably one of the best riders in France, Maxime Guillon, as her rider. So that's not a bad pairing. We'll see what this horse can do here. And finally, I'm going to take what I think will be the favorite, number 2, Lorraine. She has draw 7. She hung on to beat Classic Flower last time out by half a length. She was tiring, but still did well. She won her last 3 races, and 2 of them at 1,400 meters. So that's kind of, not bad for a 2-year-old. And, let's see what she can, I think she can get beat in this race. I think she's vulnerable, but we'll see.
I'm going to start there with Luan.
I'll take out that.
Yeah. This one did, as you mentioned, Tom, win 3 in a row, and they were all on soft, so won't be at all stressed out by the footing tomorrow, Saturday, the 19th of August. I wanted to say February, but it's much warmer out there. And it was the highest rated race for all of these. Flower did finish second by half a length to the top pick. I feel like this one's going to make its 3rd start after layoff, so some room for improvement there. for Classic Flower. Number 6 is my third choice, Les Bleus. Does that mean blue? Like blue, the color?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one was a well-beaten third, but the race rating was as good as the race that the Classic Flower and Lulanen ran last time. It's also a Group 3 winner, making its third start after a layoff. Then finally, number 3, Les Pavots. Me and my French. Is only 3/4 of a length away from winning 3 of its 4 races. And by the looks of it, feels like, because the horse I went, if I remember correctly, went like 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7 furlongs. And the longer the race, it seems the better for that horse. So maybe that one can sneak in at 5-1 as your winner. I'm going to go 2, 5, 6, 3 in our first race of 2-year-olds at Deauville. And the second race is going to be 2-year-olds as well, Thomas, right? No, this is 3-year-old fillies.
It's 3-year-olds plus.
We're
on the round course this time. We're going 1.5 miles.
That would be the race at the Curragh then, where we get the second dose of 2-year-olds. And that one is going to be, what are we running at? 1.5 miles?
1.5 miles. So we're going to go,
2,400 meters?
So you start, go around the turn and come back.
Indeed. So two full turns around the track, Tom. So 2 full turns. Usually around here, you get 2 full turns, kind of a slow start, kind of work their way through that for opening turn, maybe pick up the pace in the backside. So are you looking for closers here? Do you want to be forwardly placed? What's the strategy at Deauville?
To me, I think this race is going to be won by a horse either going to come from in the back. It seems to be where these are going to run. Really will depend on what the pace is. If they go slow at the beginning, then I would say some of these other horses will have a chance that are more forwardly placed. But I really think they're going to get run over by this bunch that are coming from behind the bunch, and that seems the way it will play out. And you've got, it's three furlongs before the finish, so there's a lot of moving going to be going on at that point when they hit that top of that stretch.
Mm-hmm. You got 11 runners so far, anyway, none scratched. So who do you got?
I took number 4. Mantia has draw 8. She ran a third last time out at Chantilly on the good to soft going. Tries longer distance to date, but I looked at her record. She has 1 start at this distance, and guess what? She did.
She got the W, Thomas. Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked.
And with that, I had to look a little at her breeding too, and guess what Mom did? Mom liked the distances too. So I think the switch in Andre Fabre is making the switch in distance. I think it's a wise move because I think this horse wants that, and I think you're going to get some odds.
Looks like 16-1 so far, anyway.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And climbing.
Yeah, number 3, Mellow is going to be my next choice. Why does I draw 3 also? Really, all the races this season for this horse have been decent, and last one was a winning effort. It's a bit on the heavy and very soft going. Well, that's what we're going to get. Steps up in here, but she's going well. And with that, it's kind of hard to ignore her. And finally, I'm going to take number 9, Golden Lyra is my final choice with draw 10. I think William Haggis placed this horse in a nice race for her. 2 races have been average at best. They ship her over, change of tracks, she's won on the all weather at this distance. So big price, maybe not. But I think she's nicely placed in here to get a piece of it. I don't see her winning.
The quintessential Tom horse, right? Gonna maybe not win. Getting the money. I'm going to start off with the 8 horse La Mahena at 6-1 right now. This one is all or nothing on turf. I love those horses, Tom. The ones that either win or finish out of the money, because ordinarily you get some good odds, and if they show up, they usually win pretty handily. So let's hope that this one shows up today. 8 times on the turf, 4 wins, nothing else, and does have 1 trip at today's distance. That was last time out, and it was on a soft track. Number 1 is my next choice, Bayacara. I don't know if you pronounce it that way, but we do today. It's also one that's kind of moving up.
Pronunciators, so we get to pronounce it the way we want.
However we like. If they don't like it in France, too bad. Anyway, this one has a pair of necks from winning 3. So it finished 3rd twice. at the distance by a neck. So it was right there at the finish line, won the other one, and then one time ran out of the money. So 1.5 miles absolutely has a nose or a neck for the finish line. Let's see if today can have the head down at photo time. The one you started off with is my next pick at 16-1, Manisha. Manisha could improve in the second start after a layoff. And if you kind of run through the last 9 races, 7 of them are what I would designate as high quality starts. So, you're going to get good effort out of this horse. And at 16-1 for a horse that puts in good work, race after race after race, I feel like that's some good value. And then finally, number 10, which looks to me like it might be the favorite, Tom, Ottery. Last time out, went this long. It was the first time the horse went 1.5 miles. It ran away from the pack, and that was a Group 3 win. So in the Prix de Pomone, 8-1-4-10 for myself.
But with that, I will say this is a good betting race because I think it's pretty open. Because we all picked, with the exception of one horse, we all picked different horses. So,
and most of them were over 10-1 odds too.
Yeah. So I think it's, you're going to get, even the favorite, you're going to get decent price on the favorite in your view. I think that horse is going to win.
If it goes off at 5-2, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
How you doing, Richard? Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday night. At least that's what it is in your States. We hope you have a really better Friday night, a little bit going on with the Randwick race, and then get off to a great start at Deauville and the Curragh tomorrow before you head into maybe Saratoga or Del Mar. A place to bet through Racing Post to watch live. Well, we're not going to watch it live, but we're going to talk about it live. This one's at the Curragh. Thomas, we know that is in Ireland as we skip across the planets. This one is the Coolmore stud Wootton Bassett Irish. I don't know what EBF stands for. Futurity Stakes. This is another one that's 2-year-olds, Tom. They're going to run that, again, that sprout distance, 7 furlongs. This is my favorite track in the world, Thomas, because it reminds me of a Swiss Army knife. I don't know, just all the different configurations in there.
Oh, and it looks like, if you ever see the long shots on it, it looks like one big field. And it goes on and on and on.
So we're going to start back here. I'm guessing 7 furlongs. We're going to go up that slight rise to that minor turn, come to that straightaway down the end, a little bit of a fall, then levels out, and then a slight rise to the finish line. Are they going to do one of these, Thomas? Like they're going to split the green pastures here?
No, they will not.
They will not.
Field's not big enough. Field's not big enough for one.
Oh yeah, this one's 5 horses, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
This is a jockey race.
So with my 4 picks, I'm sure to have the winner. But Sean won't let me take 4 picks in a 5-horse field, so I only got 3, just like you. So who do you start with?
I started with number 3. Island in the Stream is my top choice. Draw 2. Won at the Curragh last out at 7 furlongs, and it was an interesting race because I watched it, and it vaulted the start. I thought it ran green, hung left, and then he figured it out, and he won. And he went off at 9-1. I was happy about that. And there was a horse that's in this race, Portland, who ran 3rd in that race. I think he's going to run a better race here, and I think with the experience, it's going to help, especially with 2-year-olds. And with that, I'll take number 2, Henry Longfellow is my next choice with draw 3. Favorite last race, won by 1 3/4 lengths over the soft going. He only was asked towards the end of that race to go, and then he just shot out and won the race. So obviously this is an Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore. They've won a few races in their lifetimes, and this is one of those you got to watch. And could it show up in the Breeders' Cup? Absolutely, because it's going to be a short price favorite in this race.
Yeah, 2-5 right now.
Yeah,
and going down, it looks like.
Yeah, I would think so. And number 5, Spanish Flame is going to be my final choice. So it's draw 1. Won its last 2 races, and they were all at 7.5 furlongs. Really want a strange distance. And then one was by a neck, and the other one was by 6 lengths. First start at the Curragh appears to be placed interestingly, I think, and I think you'll see a little action on this one.
So it's strange, Tom. It's a 5-horse field, so we ordered them exactly the same. I have Islands in the Stream as well. It won its maiden, and if you look at the set, and there's a little bit of a difference though between it and Henry Longfellow. Island in the Stream, I forgot to mention, this is a good track. So this is one of the few that of the three that we did today where the footing should be good. But when you look at it 7 furlong time, they both ran at the Curragh, and it ran 2 seconds faster than Henry Longfellow, who ran on a soft track at 7 furlongs. 2 seconds is approximately where every 1 second's approximately 5 furlongs, 5 lengths. So that's a 10 length. Do you think the difference between soft and good is 10 lengths for 7 furlongs?
Could be, but again, guess what we're dealing with?
2-year-olds.
Yeah, so get your crystal ball sometimes on some of these races.
But I just felt like 2 seconds. It'd have to be really soft, I feel like, to be 10 length difference at the finish line from soft to good. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but it's just kind of hard to ignore 2 horses that run on the same track, run the same distance. Again, the footing's a little bit different, but one ran 2 seconds faster than the other. So I'm going to go with Island in the Stream and say that he'll run a fraction of a second faster than Henry Longfellow as they take the photo at the wire. And I agree, Spanish Flame is my third choice in here. Won its last race, did so by a neck, but the horse that he beat, that came in second by a neck, came back to win its next start. So maybe that was a key race for Spanish Flame. We have the same exact order in the Coolmore Stud Wootton Bassett Irish EBF Futurity Stakes, 3, 2, and 5. Yeah, we got a little bit of agreement today. In the 3-horse race, it's a 5-horse race, not going to be that bad. In the Curragh for race number 4, I think this one is, Thomas, or 5, excuse me. This is the Alpha Centauri Debutante Stakes. This happens when you're reading things phonetically, right? Instead of just looking at the word first. This one again, 7 furlongs, Tom. They're going to do that same little trip down that hill, down the fall, up the level, straight to the finish line. We got a few more horses in this race than that last one, Tom, sitting on 8 horses. So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in our final Foreign Friday picks in about 2 months?
I'm going to pick number 2. Dollarina is my top choice. It has draw 3. Ran second in its only start. And it was behind an Aidan O'Brien horse who made all the running in that race and is considered to be probably the best 2-year-old filly that he has. Was in the rear of the field, moved up in the about 2 furlongs to go. Again, a bit green, edged right, and got up for second. So 2-year-olds learning. Yep.
And that horse's name that it beat was Lang Lang, I think, right? Mm-hmm.
With that, I'll take number 7, Snelling. My next choice. She has draw 2. Her last start was at Royal Ascot, and she won, and she beat Pearls and Rubies by a head at 7 furlongs. Her first start was at Limerick, and she won that one. So she's 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Can she get the head bob again? Maybe. We'll see. And finally, I'm going to take number 8, Vesperito, I guess. I don't know.
Vespertilio? We'll go with that. Vespertilio.
Well, okay, I'll go with that. Has draw 8. Steadied at the start and last start. Made up ground and switched to the right. Was bothered by a horse and still ran second. So I would say drama. But the jockey's comment I thought was really interesting in reading it, because they was interviewed and he said, "Oh, she over-exaggerated the move." I don't know. I'm going to go with a bit green. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-year-old. And in that race, again, it ran behind one of Aidan O'Brien's better 2-year-olds. So I think it may get a little more improvement out of this race. And I think the bettors kind of agree with me, because that looks like the second choice right now.
Yeah, one of them, and they were right in that mix there. Yeah. So when I have the same horses again, just a little bit different order. I'm going to start off with Snellen. Is unbeaten in a pair of races, both at the distance, and in one of those wins, beat Pearls and Rubies, who I have as my second choice in here, who is actually the first choice according to the odds maker. But I'm a firm believer in that horses are herd animals, and when one beats one, it usually beats it again. So we'll see if that indeed happens. And then for me, much like you, I think we read the race the same way, or at least competition the same way. The 2-horse, Dollarina, and the 8-horse, they both ran not at the same race, but from one race to the next in succession. Dollarina finished second by 2 3/4 lengths behind the Lang Lang in the debut. And then Yang Lang came back to beat Vespertilio by a little bit more than that. And that horse rallied for a piece of the exacta and the trifecta in its first 2 races. I think if the horse, to me, the problem with the 8 horses is not getting off to good starts. So if you can get off to a little bit of a better start with those late legs, could make a bigger difference. And it looks like maybe the odds maker does expect a little bit of better effort out of that horse today. So 7, 5, 2, and 8 to close out our first Foreign Friday show, Thomas, in it's been about 2 months, my man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's
why we had to have a layoff, take some time out in the pasture and, get spoiled a little, and then we come back.
Got to freshen up the legs and fatten up the belly, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So any idea if we're going to do anything next week, or are we going to be traveling?
Well, during the week, we have the Ybor Festival at York. So the best race there is the Judgment International, which will be run on Wednesday. So if you're interested in that, will it have a Breeders' Cup implications? It has in the past. So maybe I would take a look at that race if anybody is interested in that. And that's the way I kind of view these races right now is especially with the 2-year-olds, I'm looking to November and see who's going to may show up. And, Brian's won a few Breeders' Cup races.
Oh, who's going to show up. The
question. Some of these other trainers, John Gosden's done okay too. A couple of these people, and some of the French horses have done well too. We don't get a glimpse of the Japanese horses yet, but I have a feeling a few of those are going to show up at Santa Anita too.
I would think so. You'll be plenty of them, I think, to choose from. And of course, like always, we'll have our insights on the Breeders' Cup when we get there. We'll have our international show where we highlight just international horses to keep an eye on for the Breeders' Cup. But we don't want to get there too fast, Tom, because we're already running out of daylight and warmth. Well, not really. It's going to be like 100 degrees here in a couple of days in Chicago, but daylight is definitely getting shorter. So it is a hint that the fall is indeed coming. The temperatures aren't really hinting at that yet. So maybe we'll be back. Are you going to write your notes up for the races that you were talking about, the Ybor, in the middle of the week?
I hope to. I'm going to be up in Milwaukee starting tomorrow. So I should be able to get to it. As soon as the form comes out and they get the final, I'm going to write up some of the Ybor races, some of the better Ybor races. Yeah, that festival is usually worth following.
All right.
And you can win it. I mean, it's not as crazy as Ascot in terms of odds, but what 3 favorites won at Ascot, I think last time around. That's not much.
Yeah, not much. Well, always it's one of the things I like about the English racing and the Australian racing is there tends to be a little bit less predictability than what we see here in terms of how often the favorites win. And it seems like you can really catch some big prices there. Well, if Tom does write it up and gets it off to me, you'll be able to find it over at.
I have not looked at the week. So I'm going to take a say, and I say I don't know. I can quickly look and see if I've got anything on here. Yeah. Foreign Fridays. Here we go. Yeah.
If it does put it together, I'll put the notes over.
The 23rd to the 23rd to the 26th is the Ybor Festival. But keep in mind, I may look at France again, the Deauville. Racing, they usually going to there's major racing, and on Sunday, as an example, there are 2 Group 1s running there, a couple of Group 2s. So there's some good racing just also besides Saturday. I kind of emphasize the 2-year-old race and then the longer one. Just as the longer one, I don't think we'll see any Breeder Cup interest, but that 2-year-old race there may be 1 or 2 of them that could be on the path.
For sure. And then, of course, Tom, do you you post your thoughts over on your Twitter account too, right? So what's your Twitter address?
At TJD Horseplayer.
TJD Horseplayer at TJ. Is it now X or Twitter? What is the name of the company anymore? I don't even know.
Schmuck.
Schmuchter. Schmuchter X. There you go. So go to Schmuchter X to
no
get your
freaking
picks from
tomorrow will be something different.
From Thomas over there for sure. All right, Tom. Well, it's been good to see you again. Hopefully you had a good road trip. I know mine was fun going off to see a couple of bands. That was a good time. Maybe stick a little bit closer to future concerts. But in any case, no matter if you're going to see a concert, you're road tripping, you're taking photos, you're getting ready for Ybor, no matter what it is you're doing, we certainly hope that you do have God's grace, God's favor, and that every single thing that you do for the first time in a long time ends up in the Foreign Friday
Winner Circle.
It's the winner's enclosure, Thomas. All right. Have a fantastic Friday.
That's in England. We're not doing English racing. We're doing Irish, French, and Australian.
Yeah. So the winner's circle it is. Until we see you again, everybody have a fantastic weekend.